Hello, I'm Mike. I'm an amateur watchmaker and I've been doing watchmaking for about 2 years. If you've seen any of my videos, you might recall seeing me use an electronic microscope, and I've really enjoyed my electronic microscope. Here it is. It's a digital microscope with a 7-inch LCD screen, and I've gotten some really good video from this microscope. It shoots HD video, and so far it's been great for inspection and really giving me an idea of what's going on with these watch parts, helping me see what you can't see just with the naked eye. However, due to the close distance that you have to be between the lens and your subject, there's really very little room to work between the lens and what you're working on. And so for that reason, I've had to take my watchmaking to the next level. And I'm bringing this to the channel. Check it out. This is called a trinocular microscope. And trinocular means it's binocular. You could see with both eyes, and you can see what's under it in stereo. It has a further working distance between the subject and the lens, so you have room to work underneath it. And the difference between binocular or binocular and trinocular is this basically has a third eyepiece to which I have a 4K camera hooked up. So this video is my flagship video of my new recording setup. This is the area that I am recording all of my videos, and I've got 3 cameras. There's one back there. I've got my top-down mounted camera, my microphone, and now we have this 4th source, which will always be on the ready, and I look forward to incorporating this into my upcoming watchmaking videos. So what follows is my first tests recording with the new setup, and I just thought I'd put it up there. I really had a good time recording this. I found a really small non-working ladies movement, and I'm just going to practice using the microscope by disassembling the movement underneath it, and we'll see how that feels. So didn't really know how it was going to go. Here's the video. For your viewing pleasure, it's a very casual video, and love to hear your comments, but I'm super excited about really fine-tuning the setup and bringing more high-quality video, images, and projects to the channel. Here it comes. Thanks for watching. Welcome. This is Mike, and I basically took my studio apart, bought a microscope, put it all back together. So as a guinea pig test here, I have this tiny little Bulova ladies movement. And here, just for scale, that is a US dime, just to give you an idea of how big this this movement is. And so for practice, I'm going to attempt to disassemble this movement while working under the microscope. Kind of a new setup for me, new set of motor skills, and let's see what it's like trying to work under a microscope. So the first thing we need to do is remove the hands. And as you can see, there's a broken hand here. The hour hand is missing. And if the hour hand was there, we would simply put this little pry tool and there we go. And there we go. There is the minute hand. put that in our parts sorter, just for giggles. Oh, it doesn't matter where it goes. And let's see if we can get off this little ring that held the hour hand. Now it seems to be attached. So maybe the hour wheel is attached to the back. Well, let's just try giving it a little bit more influence. What do you say? And I'm looking through. I'm not looking at the monitors right now. I'm looking through. There we go. So that's all it took. And that lets us remove the remains there of that hour hand. And it's amazing just how huge everything looks under the microscope. Okay. It's time to take off the dial. Let's see. Do we have, how's this dial held on? There's probably some dial screws there on the side. So let's take this out of the case. Yep, there it is. There's a dial screw on that side. Dial foot screw. And there's one over next to the crown. I'm not wearing finger cots just because this is a throwaway movement. This is a practice movement, if you will. And okay, so we want to get one of our small screwdrivers. And let's see, how close are we? Oh, that looks almost right. So part of working under a microscope is you kind of have to change your angle a little bit for the reason that the microscope is right above you. So you have to work with clearance. Okay. And the other one was over here by the crown. There it is. So right now I'm trying to go straight in from above, and like I can't even put my finger on the tip of the screwdriver because I have no clearance. So that's I guess the pros and cons of working under a microscope. But boy, do I have good visibility right now. So there's that signed crown, and it looks like the dial is just lifting away. Come away with me, dial. Whoa, and it looked like it flew across the room. Nope, it's right here. So here's the back of the dial. Get some focus. Still getting used to which way is which way. So there we go. That's the dial. Again, I'm not worrying about using my scratchy tweezers right now. Right now, I'm just trying to get my hand-eye coordination working, get used to working under the microscope. Keeping focus. So there you go. You know, I really like the fonts on these old Bulovas. So here's a little peek at the dial side of the movement. So let's go ahead and remove the dial washer. And the hour wheel wants to come with. Volunteering is appreciated and encouraged. There we go. Now, did the cannon pinion come with it? What's under there? Why, yes. I guess, is that the cannon pinion, or is this some kind of dual setup? I'm going with cannon pinion. Okay, I've grabbed a more robust set of tweezers. Now let's see if that is indeed separate. Okay, you go here. And yes, there's the cannon pinion. So tiny. We can take a look and see if all the teeth are clean. Any teeth missing? I think we're looking okay. I'm not really even watching on the other cameras, but let me see. Can I go in any clearer here? Trying to give you the full multimedia experience. There we go. And we're going to put these super teeny tiny parts aside. And what else can this movement tell us? What's next? How about, well, I can tell you this. Get a little bit more focus. So the spring is maxed out. Okay, so setting position works when it wants to hold. So there's setting position. Kind of doesn't want to stay there. It's on a hair trigger. Not quite sure why. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So this is broken. Do you see that crack right there? That is separated. Normally, that would ride that cutout, the dual cutout there, would ride on that post. But as you can see right here, the that return spring is broken. And that is why it doesn't decisively stay in the setting position. That's why it's just snapping back. Okay. And I'll bet you this is just held on right now by old oil. Yep. There we go. And I want to put in these dial feet screws a little bit so we don't lose them, so they don't fall out. So let's just drive them in a bit. There we go. Now I'm going to put the movement in a movement holder, and I'd like to let the power out of the mainspring. Maybe I want to move it just a little bit further away. There we go. So I have clearance in front of the microscope now. Okay, do I have good purchase there? Oh, a little wobbly. That's okay. You know what? I'm going to want a little bit more brightness there on the microscope. So the video picture looks good. There we go. Okay, and so what I'm going to do now is I want to see if I can hold the click away. And we'll let the, see if we can let down, come here. Let down the power in the mainspring in a nice controlled, almost controlled fashion. That was awkward. Okay. Doesn't seem like there was much power in there. Okay. That's fine. This is, again, this is really an exercise just to get a feeling for what it's like working under this microscope, trying to jockey, no fewer than 3 cameras We have a fourth camera above us, but it doesn't do much good when you're looking down into the workpiece because all you see is the microscope. Okay. What do you say we take out the crown? That's always a nice next part of the project. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to judge these screw sizes, the screw heads, with the with my screwdrivers, and they just look so much bigger. Is it a good fit? Let's see. Need even smaller. I'm starting to see a pattern evolve here. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. There we go. Wrong place. Right screwdriver. Nice. There we go. Tiniest, shortest little winding stem ever. Again, this is interesting for me because not only am I working under the microscope, but this is a very small ladies movement. So I feel like I'm pushing my motor skills. Let's get that balance out of the way. Balance is that. Whoa! Yeah, the balance has come unbalanced. All right, all right. I can't blame the microscope for that. That's just sometimes you think you have a good grip. You think sometimes you've got a good grip in these case holders, and that's not always the case, no pun intended. Okay, I put it a little bit lower. Tell you what, let's use microscope power. I see a hair or something on there. It's just bothering me. Let's get him out of the way. And while we're at it, it's a good opportunity to test out the power of the microscope. Oh yeah, look at that. That's an uninvited guest. Look at that. Do you see him? He's stuck. Come. I'm plucking gray hairs. Ew. Come on. To the naked eye, that was almost invisible. Okay. So there we go. We can get a better look. This is, did I say anything about the watch? A Bulova BXW, the Bulova watch company. Actually, 6BL is the designation for this movement. BXW is on the balance. We don't have a case, so we don't have any history of service marks. But here's a nice close-up walkthrough. I guess I'm not the first person to slip up on that screw. All kind of history there. All right, here you go, unadjusted. Take a look at the hairspring. Ew, that's dirty. Okay. Well, let's zoom back out to nice workable distance. I need to make periodic adjustments here on the lighting. Let's talk cameras here to all of my photographer friends. I like to work with manual settings as much as I can on a camera. So this microscope has auto settings where it will automatically adjust the brightness or the exposure based on what it thinks it should be exposed to. I like the control of manual, but since I don't really have knobs that I could turn on this microscope, since it's all electronic, I have to adjust exposure old school by making my light brighter and dimmer. So if you see me adjusting from time to time, or if I overexpose or underexpose from time to time, please bear with me as we get used to not just doing the work under the microscope, but also in making sure that we're making pretty pictures. And again, my clearance is so close to the microscope right now that I can't even put my finger on the screwdriver. I would have to move the microscope back and tilt it more, which might be an option. Come on. It's holding on. And now I'm being blocked by the movement holder. There we go. So, I think I'm going to make an adjustment on the microscope. It does have a tilt function, so I can lean it. And let's see, I'll have to, of course, adjust my focus and have to adjust my chair a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, so now I'm looking at the movement from a slightly different angle. It looks like it's still centered in all the cameras. Good. So now we want to come here at this little, see if there's a pry point under here. And we're going to gently turn this with the goal of lifting off the balance. Now usually there's some posts underneath this balance. So we need to make sure it gets lifted straight up, which we did. There we go. Now, the balance cock is coming away, but the balance itself seemed kind of trapped. So let's see if we can convince him to come out with the balance cock. Come on, come to Papa. There we go. And just plunk him down there. Get some focus. Let's see what's going on with him. Interesting. All right. Now, one of the reasons I said interesting is because since I tilted the microscope, it's just a little bit too far away for me to focus when something's laying on the table. So I'm going to put it up here on my watch crown. My throne, I mean. My watch throne. I call this the throne. Let's get some focus now. And let's take a look at this balance complete and see if there's anything notable about it. Should we go in? Yeah, let's go in. Wow, that's clear. I'm going to turn up the brightness just a little bit for the sake of the video. Then I'm going to accidentally hit my head on the microscope and make it bounce. Ow, that was my glasses. That transferred power right through to the bridge of my nose. Ouch. I might have some shiners next time you see me. No, it's not that bad. Okay, roller table impulse jewel. The balance itself looks like it's okay, nothing crazy. How about that delicate hairspring? Well, apart from being dirty, it's concentric. So there is the regulator holding in the first part of the coil. So what do you say? Should we go in for a deep dive here? Yeah, let's do that. Let's have some fun. Okay. Now, do I have the clearance that I need to do what I'm trying to do? You know what I'm thinking of doing here? First things first, I want to hold this down so it's not jumping around. So that's my finger kind of in the picture there. Now, can I get a screwdriver? Again, with the choice of screwdrivers, that's way too big. Okay, the other thing that I want to do here is I want to get a harder work surface to do this on. What I want to do is I'm going to release the regulator pin. So here's a metal staking block. Let's do the old switcheroo here. Oh, look at that deeply pitted. Ew, what is growing? Cleanup on aisle 9. All right. Like there's the good, the bad, and the ugly side of microscopes. That was definitely the ugly side. Okay, where were we? We wanted to see if we could release the regulator boot so we can remove the hairspring. And boy, talk about awkward. So how are we going to do this? I'm just going to try to hold that there with my finger. Sneak this screwdriver right in there. Can we find it? We had it. It does feel right. And this regulator boot very nicely swivels out of the way. And what's that going to do for us? Well, let me explain. When we release the hairspring, we'll be able to now slip it past that regulator boot. This is a very delicate but important pin, and we don't want to lose it or break it. By lose it, I mean break it. And I was working on another watch and I broke one, and I had to get another regulator arm. And let's just say it didn't go real well. Okay, right now, we're going to loosen this screw. I'm hoping you could see this, which should then allow us to remove, you guessed it, remove the hairspring. Okay, I'm bringing this back into the picture. I'm going to check my focus. There we go. And with that, if we did our homework, everything works in our favor, then, let me see, do I need to hold this down? We should be able to lift the hairspring stud away from the regulator arm, which we did. And voila, we've now freed the hairspring and the balance. Very nice. Now, while this is here, here's another thing that I'm learning, and this is certainly going to be one of my test victims if I can get this running again. You see this little opening here? Let's see if I find my pointer. See that opening in that collar? That collar attaches to the balance staff. Here's the balance staff. You can see the pivot. And this collar is removable, and the hairspring is attached to it. So when you change a hairspring, you'd need to press on this collar with the hairspring. But the other thing is are you familiar with beat error? That's the difference between the ticks and the tocks when the watch is running. And you want low numbers, almost zero, that says that the the balance is turning clockwise at the same rate that it's turning counterclockwise. And if it's not centered, you get beat error. And you adjust beat error by turning this collar on the balance. And so let's see, should we attempt that now? Right now I'm feeling a little bit, well, I don't want to say at a disadvantage because I'm not quite sure how to hold on to it, but let's do this. First things first, I'm going to move the balance to a smaller hole here on this little staking block, just to help keep it in one place. There he is. And by the way, did I say earlier in this video, did I acknowledge that I'm not wearing finger cots? And I know that if this was a more official watch project, I would be finger cotted. But right now, I'm not. Okay, so I'm just going to hold down the balance. Again, this looks like a giant screwdriver, but this is how you would just beat error. You would just turn that collar this way or that way until the impulse jewel on the other side of the balance is perfectly aligned, looking right between the banking pins where the pallet fork goes. So there you go, and there you go. And you know what? Just for giggles, hey, can I take this hairspring off? I've never done this. But my understanding is it's kind of like removing hands. So let me see. I don't think I need as much magnification. Not quite sure how. Gosh, these look huge, don't they? I guess I want to come under. There's one. There's two. And pop! I did it! Hey, honey, I just removed my first hairspring. Yay! Sarah just came down to the workshop.
So exciting.
So let me just show this to the audience real quick, and then I'll take a break. This is the perfect time now for me to take a break. Boy, that was a learning experience. So there we go. Haha. Like, it just looks so big, like I could just reach out and grab it. Just take that. We'll put the hairspring there. I'm going to turn over this balance. See if I can get these both in the picture for you. Oh, don't worry about that sound. That was just my hand lever rolling across the desk. Okay. Ready for the reference time? Here's the dime. Just so we have a sense of perspective. And that is literally as far out as this microscope will go. And of course, here's another look. There's the balance. And how's that pivot looking on the balance? Let's take a look at that. Doesn't look like there's much there, does it? Well, I suppose I didn't expect very much. And there's a closer look at the hairspring. Yay. All right. Well, that was something that I knew I had to tackle in my skill set. And tell you, the microscope, once you get used to working around like the lens and the light, it's kind of cool. It's kind of empowering. Okay. Not sure if I should post this video. Did we accomplish anything? You know, maybe I'll just throw it up there and you guys let me know what you think. Always glad to have you along for the ride. This is Mike. The channel is Watch with Mike. Talk to you later.